Welcome to the 5-Minute Bible Teaching from Back to the Bible. This is Pastor Nat, and we are committed to helping you move closer to Jesus today than you were yesterday. One of the ways that we can do that is by engaging in outreach. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about today, simplifying outreach. Try something. That's the advice I gave my leadership team when they didn't know how to reach the lost. I said, try something. Well, that's exactly what I did. I tried something. Well, what is it that I tried to reach the lost? Well, I've been a gardener for probably 15 years. Now, I don't do flower gardening, though I do appreciate a good flower bouquet. What I like is a big, hearty vegetable garden. I'll plant tomatoes and peppers, green beans, cucumbers, eggplant, and the list just goes on. For me, the bigger the garden, the better. But when we moved from our first house to our second home, I wasn't sure where I was going to put my garden. We had a really big backyard, but it just wasn't right to put a vegetable garden. So I looked at my wife and I said, why don't we just put it in the front lawn? We can put it right by the sidewalk. Well, my wife said, why on earth would we do that? Well, for one, it gets great sunlight. There's residual rain that'll help keep it watered. But then I said, what if the garden was a place where people from the neighborhood could gather? I mean, we love to connect with our neighbors, and we know that the neighborhood is full of lost people. So what if while we garden, people walk by and we just talk to them? We use this opportunity as a gathering space to talk with them. Well, what did my wife say to that? Sure, let's try it. I will tell you, for 8 years, that garden was the social hotspot of the neighborhood. People knew to come by for a good conversation, for some free produce, and even some gospel. Did you know that the Apostle Paul had a try-it philosophy when it came to outreach? He did. In fact, listen to what Paul says in 1 Corinthians chapter 3. I planted the seed in your hearts, but Apollos watered it. But it was God who made it grow. It is not important who does the planting or who does the watering. What's important is that God makes the seed grow. The one who plants and the one who waters work together with the same purpose, and both will be rewarded for their own hard work. For we are both God's workers, and you are God's field. You are God's building. You see, I really think we've overcomplicated outreach. Paul says, I planted the seed in your heart, and Apollos watered it, but it was God who made them grow. God is asking you and I to daily scatter seed and water wherever we're located in whatever we're doing. Today, if you like to golf, invite a friend or a family member or a neighbor or even a coworker who is far from God to join you. If you like board games, why not post a board game night and allow non-believers and believers to come together over a common interest? If you're into crocheting, maybe invite a friend over who's far from God to just sit down with you and you can teach them your hobby. What my friends did is they put 4 lawn chairs on their front lawn. In the evenings, they would just sit down in their chairs, drink a cup of tea or a pop, and they would just talk. As the neighbors passed by, they invited them to sit down and join them in the conversation. You and I are not responsible for saving anybody. We are called to scatter seed and water. We are called to share the gospel in everyday ways with everyday people. When we remember this, it makes outreach a lot more fun and a whole lot easier. God says, try it. Try it, you might like it. In fact, if you try it, I will do the rest. Today, my challenge for you is to invite one person that you know who is far from God into an activity that you would normally reserve for yourself. I promise you, you will find that outreach has never been so easy or as fun. Today, try it and share with me how the experiment went. Thanks for walking with me today. If you found today helpful, Please share this podcast with your friends on social media or through text message. Plus, if you want to go even deeper, be sure to go to backtothebible.org and click on the Daily Forward. Until next time, stand firm, stand faithful, and stand on God's Word.